Welcome to Walvis on Wire. Today we're talking about Razman Zakaria's call for a strict ban on alcohol-related activities in schools.
Yes, this is all centered around an alumni dinner happened recently at St. Michael's Institution.
And that event really drew some sharp criticism from Razman Zakaria, who's the opposition leader for the Perak State Assembly.
Exactly. And the core of the issue, the real controversy, wasn't just the dinner itself.
It was what allegedly happened at the dinner, wasn't it?
That's right. The report suggests that, alcoholic drinks were served
On school grounds?
on school grounds, yes, to over 800 alumni attending the event.
Wow. Okay. And from Razman's perspective, that's not just a small slip-up.
Not at all. His view is pretty stark. Schools are supposed to be about character building, instilling values.
So having alcohol there fundamentally undermines that whole purpose.
That's the argument. It severely damages the school's image, compromises its mission. It's seen as a fundamental violation.
Okay, but wasn't there already some kind of policy about this? I mean, it feels like this shouldn't have happened if rules were in place.
Well, that's the crucial part. This isn't really a gray area. Razman's criticism hinges on an existing policy.
Ah, okay. Which policy is that?
It's the Ministry of Education's 2018 Professional Circular Number 3. That's the key document here.
2018, so it's been around for a while. What does Circular Number 3 actually say about this sort of thing? About alcohol?
It's surprisingly clear, actually. The circular explicitly stops schools from accepting donations or sponsorships that come from activities involving gambling, tobacco, or alcohol.
Okay, wait, so the rule forbids taking money connected to alcohol?
Exactly. Donations, sponsorships, any kind of funding derived from it.
So if you can't even accept funding linked to alcohol, then allowing, actual consumption of alcohol on the premises.
Yeah, by hundreds of people, yeah. It points to a pretty significant failure, doesn't it? A failure in oversight in actually applying the rules.
Which shifts the focus then? It's not just about the school, is it? The criticism is broader.
It really is. The argument becomes about the government's overall implementation, their supervision.
You have this clear rule on the books since 2018, and yet this event happens. It sort of suggests the circular isn't being treated like a strict rule, maybe more like a guideline.
Or perhaps just not actively enforced. That's the core of the critique, this gap between having a policy and actually making sure it's followed.
Right. It comes down to responsibility, doesn't it?
Precisely. The point being made is that when the ministry sets a policy, the leadership, the state education department, the school management they have to lead by example.
You need to ensure it's actually implemented, not just filed away somewhere.
Yeah, active enforcement. Making it real.
And the immediate responsibility, according to Razman's view, lands squarely on the school management.
Yes, the argument is that they hold the responsibility for what happens on their grounds. They need to strictly follow that circular.
So, reviewing all activities, not just some, making sure nothing like this slips through.
Thorough reviews, yes. Checking everything. It suggests a potential lapse in due diligence at the school level.
Okay, so because of that perceived failure, there were calls for action, right? Specific demands.
Very specific demands, yes. Aimed at accountability, really, for everyone involved.
What exactly was demanded? From the Ministry of Education and the Perak State Education Department.
There were 4 main points. First, a full investigation, immediately, by both the ministry and the state education department.
Into how the approval even happened, I assume?
Exactly. Second, the school authorities must provide a mandatory written explanation detailing their decision process.
Okay, accountability from the school. What else?
Third, a public apology from the event organizers, presumably the Alumni Association.
For misusing the school space.
That's the implication. And fourth, perhaps looking ahead, securing guarantees. Guarantees that future alumni events won't see a repeat of this.
That fourth point raises an interesting dynamic, though. Often, alumni associations are powerful. They raise funds.
That's true.
So what happens when the group potentially violating the rules is also a group the school relies on? That puts administrators in a tough spot, surely.
It absolutely does. And this touches on something else that was highlighted, the cultural context.
Beyond just the policy document.
Yes. The argument is that any activity on school grounds needs to respect not just the law, but also the sensitivities. Religious, cultural, social sensitivities, especially in Malaysia's educational setting.
So adhering to established norms for a place of learning.
Strictly observing those norms, the presence of alcohol in this view just clashes fundamentally with what a school is supposed to represent morally.
Okay, so that covers the incident and the immediate fallout, but there were also proposals for the future, right, to strengthen the rules permanently.
Yes, moving beyond just reacting to this one event, there were concrete suggestions put forward to tighten regulations.
What kind of suggestions?
Three main mechanisms were proposed. First, just a complete, comprehensive ban.
On all alcohol-related activities.
All of them, within the boundaries of any educational institution. No exceptions mentioned for alumni or rentals. Period.
That sounds quite definitive. How would you actually enforce that, especially with outside groups renting the venue? Alumni might argue they're separate.
Well, that leads to the second proposal, using contracts.
Okay.
The idea is to put mandatory clauses into all rental contracts for school venues.
And these clauses would state.
Something explicit like strict prohibition against bringing or supplying alcohol, tobacco, drugs, or other prohibited items.
I see. So it moves from being just an internal ministry rule to a binding legal agreement with the renters.
That's the idea. It shifts the liability.
Makes sense. And the third proposal, what about consequences?
Teeth for the policy, essentially. Violators of that contract clause must face serious, immediate penalties.
Like what?
Things like immediate cancellation of the contract, maybe disciplinary action, or even legal steps. The point is there need to be real consequences. Otherwise, it's just words on paper.
Right. Consequences give the rule meaning. But rules also need someone watching, don't they? Was there anything about monitoring?
Yes, absolutely. The call wasn't just for new rules, but also for active oversight, urging the Ministry of Education and the state government to set up specific teams.
Teams for what? Auditing? Enforcement?
Both, really. Audit and enforcement teams. Their job would be proactive monitoring.
So not just waiting for complaints to come in.
Exactly. Actively checking on school activities and having the power to impose sanctions quickly on violators.
Sanctions like fines.
Or could be suspending the school's ability to rent out facilities in the future, or even disciplinary action against school management if they're found negligent. Real penalties.
But applying those penalties, could that backfire? Could it alienate, say, powerful alumni groups whose fundraising is actually quite important?
That's the potential conflict, isn't it? Balancing the need for funds with maintaining the institution's character.
It's a tricky balance.
The argument presented prioritizes the school's cultural integrity over those financial aspects, but there was also a suggestion for a softer approach alongside penalties.
Which was?
Public awareness. Basically, campaigns aimed at teachers, students, parents, the whole community.
Reinforcing the message that schools just aren't the place for alcohol promotion.
Pretty much. Strengthening that moral education function by getting everyone on the same page, making it socially harder for these things to happen under the radar.
So looking at the whole picture, this incident really throws a spotlight on a governance issue.
Definitely. You have this clear policy from 2018, but then a breakdown in control allows a very high-profile violation. It shows that gap between policy and practice.
And the final call to action from Razman's side was quite firm, wasn't it?
Very firm. Essentially, stop the talk, start the action, revise the rental guidelines immediately, and take serious action against both the organizers and the school authorities involved in this specific case.
The message being that misuse of school grounds for activities that clash with its values won't be tolerated.
That's the bottom line. It's a lesson in oversight, showing how easily rules can become just paperwork if not actively enforced, especially when influential groups are involved.
It really makes you think. So, for you, the listener, here's something to consider. Given there's an existing policy on paper, what's one practical, maybe non-bureaucratic step the State Education Department could actually prioritize starting tomorrow to make sure enforcement is real, not just promised, especially when dealing with influential alumni events?
That's a really critical question for effective governance.
Remember to like and subscribe for more videos like this.